Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman, and in this lesson we're going to practice counting rhythms with pickup notes. Remember, music is made up of strong and weak beats, organized into measures. The first beat in every measure is a strong beat, and that first beat is called a downbeat. The word downbeat comes from the tradition of conducting. A conductor is someone who stands in front of a group of musicians, like an orchestra, and waves her or his hands to show the beat, to keep everyone playing together, and also to show the dynamics. Like if they want to play really loud, they move their hands wide. To play really softly, they'll move their hands small. Back in the Baroque period, which was the 1600s and early 1700s, conductors would sometimes help by hitting a staff on the floor on each downbeat. Over the years, though, conductors got a little more subtle and eventually started using a baton like this to show the beat, using patterns drawn in the air like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that beat 1 is always a down motion, which is how it got the name downbeat. Let's check out some rhythms to practice. Here's a simple rhythm using a 4/4 time signature. Let's find the downbeats. We've got a downbeat here on beat 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another downbeat here at the start of this next measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those downbeats are the strong beats. But sometimes a composer may not want to start a piece on a strong beat. So what do we do then? Well, a composer can add an extra weak beat at the beginning called a pickup beat. This quarter note would be a pickup note. It comes before the first full measure, and that's how you know it's a pickup note. Now, if the downbeat is beat 1, then we just count backwards to know what beat we're starting on. So this has to be beat 4. So to count this rhythm, we'd go 4, 1. And notice that I made this a gentle beat to lead into our first strong beat. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, some people might be like, oh, now we have this extra beat 4. Things aren't balanced now. Well, what composers will do sometimes to make up for that is they'll borrow the beat 4 at the pickup beat from this last measure. And now we've restored balance. So this measure only has beats 1, 2, 3. So beat 4 can belong up here. Let's try this one together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Double bar line means we're done. Pickup note, and then our first downbeat. Here's another rhythm example. What's our time signature? It's 3/4, which means we have 3 beats in every measure. So, do we have enough beats here for a complete measure? No. This is only 1 beat before this first bar line, which means this must be a pickup note. So we have our first downbeat here. Where's our next downbeat? Here's another beat 1. It's always beat 1 after the bar line. And then where's the next downbeat? Here. So these are our strong beats, but the composer wanted to start on a weak beat. So what beat would this be? Well, the beat before beat 1 is always the last beat of your measure, which has to be beat 3. So we'd count this 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This happens to be the rhythm to Amazing Grace. And that's why the composer wanted to start with a pickup note, because you don't say amazing, you say amazing grace. So by starting with a pickup note, it allowed the strong syllables to fall on the strong beats. So it matches the words very nicely now. Can you count and clap this rhythm with me? So we'll count 2 beats as preparation, and then we'll start clapping on beat 3. Here we go. 1, 2. 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Here's another example. What's our time signature this time? It's 4/4. So where's our first complete measure? we don't have enough beats here, so we know these must be pickup notes. This must be our first complete measure. So here's our first downbeat, which makes it our first beat 1. So what's different this time? This time we actually have 2 pickup beats with 3 pickup notes. So we've got to count backwards. Here's beat 4. This must be beat 3. So in counting this, we'd go 3, 4, and 1. Can you try counting and clapping this rhythm with me? And let's remember that whenever we have a downbeat, to give that beat extra strength, I'll count 2 beats to get us ready. 1, 2, and then we'll start on 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Why are there only 2 beats here? It's to bring balance back to the universe. Since we had beat 3 and 4 up here, we end just with a 1, 2, double bar line. How many beats per measure in this example? If you said 2, you're correct. That top number will tell us how many beats per measure. Here's our first full measure. So here's a partial measure. So this would be a pickup note. It's not even a full beat, right? Here we have an 8th note all by itself. So what beat do we start counting on for this? Sometimes it's helpful to imagine a full complete measure. If you can imagine a full measure, we'd have a beat 1, a beat 2, and then this would have to be the and of beat 2, which is the last half of the last beat before we have our first downbeat. So to count this, we'd probably use a subdivided beat to count 1 and 2 and 1 and then that's our first strong note or strong beat on the downbeat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Do you remember this? It's our 8th rest, which gets half of a beat, 2, and then the and of 2, we've got another flagged 8th note. Can you pause the video and try clapping and counting this using a subdivided beat? Count 1 and 2 to get ready and then start on the and of 2. Clap this rhythm while you count the subdivided beat, then press play to go on. Let's try it together this time. So we'll count an empty 1 and 2 and then start on the and of 2. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Great job. For this next example, can you point to our first downbeat? If you're pointing here, you're correct. That's the first beat of our first full measure. We know we have 3 beats per measure. So now, can you help me figure out what beat we would start counting on? This one's a little tricky because it both has a partial beat and it goes for more than 1 beat. So remember, we count backwards from beat 1. Here's our beat 1. These 2 8th notes would take up 1 full beat. So what's the beat right before beat 1? In 3/4, we know this is beat 3. And then we also need another half of a beat before that. So this would be the and of beat 2. So if we're counting an empty measure, we'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. You'll notice that these beats, again, the composer could have started this as beat 1. But he or she, whoever the composer was, wanted these notes to lead into ba, 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 a strong beat here. And these lead-in pickup notes also have a fancy word in music called Anacrusis. If you want to sound really fancy to your music friends, don't say pickup notes, say, oh, the Anacrusis of this song has 1.5 beats. Anacrusis, try saying it. Now, let's try clapping this rhythm together while we count the subdivided beat. I'll count 1 and 2, and then we'll start on the and after 2. Count with me and clap. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Great job with the Anacrusis leading into the downbeat. Great work today practicing with pickup notes, or Anacrusis if you want to sound fancy. For more practice with pickup notes and downbeats, be sure to download, print, and complete the theory pages for this lesson. Thanks for learning with me, and happy practicing!
All right, class, and this is a time signature, and this is a bar line, and these are pickup notes. And whatever would do that for?
Well, you did say pick-up notes, so that's what they did. Pick-up note.
Scuba.